Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Master Builder Show. I am your host, Jim Gibson. Today's show is sponsored by the First National Bank of Weatherford. I'm a registered builder in the state of Texas, a graduate master builder, also a certified green professional. I just got that new certification.
Oh, okay.
Our topic today is going to be what's what in your home and price per square foot on housing.
What's what?
What's what? Watts, W-A-T-T-S. Watts.
Oh, okay. All right.
That has to do with energy conservation.
Okay.
And is there anything you want to say before we get started?
No, just remind everybody that the new rules for inspection of remodel jobs and new homes goes into effect this week.
September 1.
This week, isn't it? The end of this week.
End of this week, yeah. So every house that's built, all new construction, will have to go under inspection. Mm-hmm. They'll have to have 3 inspections. They'll have to have their pre-pour on their foundation for all their plumbing that's in the slab and the slab itself. They'll have to have all the framing inspection, all your mechanical inspections, and then they'll have to have a final, and they'll issue a clearance on it where they can move in.
Right, and this is to protect the home owner.
Right.
And make sure your builder's registered. So the rules are all kicking in September 1st for all the inspections, but you've had to be a registered builder. So for your own protection, check on your builder, follow up with the TRCC website and check them out and check all the rules.
All his paperwork and stuff is supposed to have his registration number on it. Like I'm registered builder number 1474 in the state of Texas, and every builder has a number, and he should be listed on the TRCC website and find out. You can go to www.masterbuildershow.com. Okay. It'll take you into my primary website, and then you can click on the TRCC link, and it'll take you directly in there. And there's all sorts of good information in there that you can check out. And, just make sure your builder's registered. And if the remodeler is doing more than $10,000 worth of work, he also has to be registered with the state of Texas as a builder. Mm-hmm. And he also has to register your home. And all homes that are built should be registered.
And it's all for consumer protection. You're going to get a better house, and you'll have recourse if there's a problem. So your obligation is to make sure your builder's registered. What, you're going to talk about September and what we're doing?
September. This is our 47th show, and our contract runs through October 1st. And so we will be on the air through September.
We've got 5 shows after today.
5 shows after today, and we'll be no longer here.
But we're going to continue our podcast. Jim is going to be moving on to other projects and teaching projects and other speaking projects, and he will continue the podcast. So we've got a lot of listeners who are checking out our podcast, who are listening live to us around the world, actually.
Right. I've got listeners in Sydney, Australia.
Yes, hello Australia.
Hello, Australia, Wyoming, Montana.
So we're going to do a little game, too, in September.
Yeah.
I'm setting Jim up for a Stump the Builder show, and we've got gift certificates from our vendors. We've got all kinds of things that we're going to be giving away to listeners, but I want y'all to think about things to call in and stump Jim with, to ask him questions. If there's a particular topic or a product you need checked out, or any information as it relates in any way, shape, or form to construction.
Right. And if there's any topic that you would like to hear or have us discuss on the show, you can either email me at jim@gibsonhomebuilders.com or jim@masterbuildershow.com, and just give me a topic, and we will do the research on it.
Absolutely.
I generally do anywhere from 5 to 15 hours research each week prior to a show. You do a 1-hour show, and you spend about 5 to 10, 15 hours, depending on what the subject is and how much I know about it already.
And then I start talking, and you get confused. And
then I lose track. I write all this stuff down.
But all his research and all the notes are up on our website. So we've got 5 shows after this. Think about what you want him to cover, and we will cover it.
And if you have any questions while we're on the air, you can call us toll-free, 877-341-8950. That's 877-341-8950, and you can call in anytime during the show. If you've got any questions or you got any problems that I may be able to help you with, I can always find the answer if I don't know the answer. But
Well, the other thing we talked about on the way in here was we still have a property over at Sugar Tree on the Brazos, and the plans for that property are a huge mansard style house.
No, it's not mansard.
Doesn't have a mansard roof on it.
Nope.
You changed the house plans.
No.
But Teresa Welch from Century 21 is the realtor, and she was saying to you how the market has shifted again now.
It's going to be shifting again, yeah, because all the incentives for the affordable type housing are going to go away.
Such as?
Well, like builders were picking up closing costs. They were picking up the down payments and all this other stuff, and they were allowing that. And they were kind of jockeying with the numbers to get it to where you could do that.
You can get into a house.
Get into a house for pretty well zero down. Mm-hmm. And I think that's all that's running up unless Congress acts and the Texas, well.
It's still a bad idea for people to go into debt over their head anyway.
Right. If they can't afford to get in the house, they need to really think about what they're getting into.
Stay where they are.
Stay where they are.
If they own it, remodel it.
Save up the money.
Do some energy efficient money saving things on the house you're in if you're in a house.
Right.
If you're a renter, just keep saving.
Well, yeah, as soon as you can buy, you need to actually get out and buy something though. And you can get into a place and start fixing it up yourself. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of projects you can do. Just get in and paint, change out light bulbs. There's all sorts of things, and that's the reason I got this show today going to be called What's Watts, because watts are what you pay for. In electricity, all your hours and stuff, and looks like we got to take a break here. We'll be back here in just a couple of minutes.
Did you know that some of the best home builders in the entire nation are right here in Parker County? Hello, everyone. This is Lynn Bearden, president of First National Bank of Weatherford. Our lenders believe your family deserves the best when it comes to your dream home. First National Bank is proud to support the Master Builder Show on QXFM. First National Bank in Weatherford has been building homes in Parker County since 1880. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Croft Foam Insulation and Protective Coatings has over 25 years of experience in the spray foam business, serving residential, commercial, and industrial clients. Croft Foam specializes in open and closed-cell polyurethane foam applications to construction, refrigerated trailers, and even castles. Croft Foam is a Fort Worth-based company. You may reach them by calling 817-482-1664 or email at foamman@swbell.net.
Alamo Appliance, 100 South Riverside Drive in Fort Worth, has been serving your needs in kitchen appliances since the early 70s. They offer Genair, KitchenAid, Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, and many other appliances. And their sales staff is ready to help you anytime you might visit. That's Alamo Appliance, 817-531-2701. Once again, the Alamo Appliance number is 817-531-2701.
Fort Worth Lighting, serving the building professional in Parker, Wise, Palo Pinto, and surrounding counties. Services include planned takeoff, site walkthrough, and delivery. For an appointment with a Fort Worth Lighting consultant, the number is 817-597-6320, or the website is fortworthlighting.com. Again, it's 817-597-6320 for Fort Worth Lighting.
Are you having a construction-related issue? Do you need a construction attorney? If so, you may call the law firm of Kelly M. Davis and Associates. Kelly's family background in the construction industry has led to her focus in construction litigation, with over 9 years of experience practicing construction law in and around the metro area. For more information, you may visit www.kmdalegal.com, or you may call 972-434-8009. That's 972-434-8009. Kelly M. Davis and Associates. Principal offices are located in Lewisville, Texas.
Welcome back to the Master Builder Show. I am your host, Jim Gibson. Today's show is sponsored by the First National Bank of Weatherford. My guest today is my wife, Jean Gibson, and we're talking about what's. And a watt is a measurement of power, and it's a measurement of in a point of time.
Okay.
So and what we're paying for is the way the electric companies measure it is kilowatt hours.
Okay.
So a watt is volts times amps. Like you take a 1200 watt blow dryer, which is pulling 10 amps because we're running basically 120 volts, and it's a 10 amp. So you multiply it, however many amps times the voltage to get your wattage. And
the point of this is?
The point of this is you're pulling 1,200 watts when you're blow drying your hair. Well, you're measured in kilowatt hours. All right. That's how, I think we're paying what, well, we can't say what we're paying, but everybody pays a certain amount per kilowatt hour.
Well, I've heard prices from 11 cents to 30 or 40 cents. Well, it's been advertised all over the air.
Right.
And all over the evening news because the news is trying to educate the public on how to look at their electric bill.
Yeah, because you can go out and shop just online. You can go out and shop.
And look at.
You're not changing any of the wires. People think, well, I'm changing electric companies. Then they'll have to come out and rerun wires and all that stuff. It's all in billing. And the power companies all put, like Green Mountain Power or whoever, goes up on the grid, and you can go in and shop to get the best price, and that's what people should do.
Well, the bill comes through every month. It shows you on the bill how many kilowatts you've used and a price per.
Right.
And that's the number, the second number, I think, on that long list of stuff that I never pay attention to until it really became a big issue on the news.
Right.
But that's a major savings, shopping for power companies.
And that's the reason we kind of want people to go out and look at Energy Star appliances, like a regular electric oven. You turn that electric oven on, while it's heating, it's pulling 5,000 watts.
Oh, and the self-cleaning component.
Oh, yeah.
I love self-cleaning.
But clothes dryers, electric clothes dryers are pulling about 5,000 watts when they're heating. Your water heaters are about 3,500 watts. And so you start adding all these things together. Microwave ovens, when you click on there and heat up whatever you're heating up, most of your high-powered microwaves are 1,500 watts. A toaster, 4-slot Lowe's toaster is 1,500 watts. So, just right there in the kitchen, we're talking several thousand watts.
Times, keep it simple, 10 cents per kilowatt hour.
Kilowatt hour.
So if it's 5,000 for my blow dryer at 10 cents, what are you telling me it's going to cost?
It's by kilowatt hour. So it's still going to run you.
Oh, so we're talking minutes of use.
Minutes of use.
So you have to add everything together.
Right.
Well, that doesn't sound so bad.
Well, at today's electrical prices, people come in here and you're running that 3,500 watt air conditioning system to keep your temperature in your house 72, 78, whatever you're doing it. But you're running it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So that 3,500 watts times 24 times 30, 31 days, then it starts adding up. So you've got to take everything in context. And that's the reason we push the compact fluorescent bulbs, because you take 10 100-watt light bulbs in your house, and that's 1,000 watts of power. You take 10 compact fluorescents that are producing the same amount of light as a 100-watt light bulb, you're pulling about 18 watts per bulb.
Oh, okay.
So it's 180 watts instead of 1,000 watts. And so everything you got to take do the math, and little things that.
Well, that's it with the buy a new energy efficient car and part with your existing car that is paid off. Well, if you do the math on those, where you're getting an extra 15 miles to a gallon,
right,
and you still have to make car payments and maintenance on the one you replaced, the math simply states that it's not worth it unless you're going from 2 miles to a gallon to 50 miles to a gallon.
Well, they were giving an example here that you go out and buy a new car that, say, gets 45 miles to the gallon. And then you're spending umpteen amount of dollars, say, and then you go out and buy, say, a used car that you pay a quarter of the price for or half the price for, and all this, and you're going to save $90 a year in gas between the 35 mile per gallon car and the 45 mile per gallon car, but it takes 10,000 gallons to manufacture that car.
Yeah.
But so it's not economically feasible always to go out and just jump on buying something new when you do the math on it.
Yep.
But okay, looks like we got a phone call coming in here. Hello, callers. You're welcome. You're live on the Master Builder Show. How can I help you?
Yes, I had a question for you that's not really on your topic.
Okay.
Excuse me. As a homeowner, on the new rules that's coming in September,
yes, sir,
be able to remodel my own house above and beyond $10,000.
You can do it yourself as long as you're not doing it for somebody else and acting as a remodeler or a builder. Then you don't have to register that particular home as far as all your work done if you're doing it yourself. But now if you're hiring somebody and you're paying them over $10,000 to do it, then they're going to have to be a registered builder, and they're going to have to register that project.
Or registered remodeler.
Well,
right.
they're registered builders.
Even though they do remodeling.
They're doing remodeling. Okay. Did that answer your question?
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Anyway, we were talking about, the cost of a lot of these things that people are pushing on the green movement. And a lot of times it costs more to manufacture and burns up more energy manufacturing that than it saves in the long run.
And corn is the favorite one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We just bought feed for our animals again.
We got to take another break. We'll be back here in a couple of minutes.
Did you know that some of the best home builders in the entire nation are right here in Parker County? Hello, everyone. This is Lynn Bearden, president of First National Bank of Weatherford. Our lenders believe your family deserves the best when it comes to your dream home. First National Bank is proud to support the Master Builder Show on QXFM. First National Bank in Weatherford has been building homes in Parker County since 1880. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Croft Foam Insulation and Protective Coatings has over 25 years of experience in the spray foam business, serving residential, commercial, and industrial clients. Croft Foam specializes in open and closed cell polyurethane foam applications to construction, refrigerated trailers, and even castles. Croft Foam is a Fort Worth-based company. You may reach them by calling 817-482-1664 or email at foamman@swbell.net.
Alamo Appliance, 100 South Riverside Drive in Fort Worth, has been serving your needs in kitchen appliances since the early 70s. They offer JennAir, KitchenAid, Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, and many other appliances. And their sales staff is ready to help you anytime you might visit. That's Alamo Appliance, 817-531-2701. Once again, the Alamo Appliance number is 817-531-2701.
Fort Worth Lighting, serving Parker, Wise, Palo Pinto, and surrounding counties with a selection of interior and exterior lighting fixtures. They also have ceiling fans, mirrors, and vanities in all sizes. A lighting consultant will help you with your decisions. For an appointment with a Fort Worth lighting consultant, the number is 817-597-6320, or the website is fortworthlighting.com. 817-597-6320 for Fort Worth Lighting.
Are you looking for a law firm with an understanding of the construction industry? Kelly M. Davis & Associates experience includes home inspections, construction contracts, disputes with builders, and helping subcontractors or vendors that have not been paid for their services. For more information, you may visit www.kmdalegal.com, or you may call 972-434-8009. That's 972-434-8009.
Kelly M. Davis and Associates. Principal offices are located in Louisville, Texas.
Welcome back to the Master Builder Show. I am your host, Jim Gibson. Today's show is sponsored by the First National Bank of Weatherford. My guest today is Jean, and we're talking about power consumption, which is measured in watts. Mm-hmm. And the little things that people don't think about is how many things do you have on, or they're on standby mode, basically. Like
doing nothing.
Doing nothing.
Right.
Like your TVs, your VCRs, your TV, yeah.
When you turn it off?
When you turn it off, it has what they call an instant on, which maintains power. Because in the old days, when you turned the TV on, it took it 2 or 3 minutes to heat up, and it would finally come on. You know, your TVs now, you turn them on, they come on, and so they're setting in a standby mode, basically like your PC, your screen. It actually goes dark.
Yeah. But
you're still pulling 30, 40, 45, 50 watts. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Doing nothing. Now,
so how many things in the house are on a standby mode?
Well, you've got your VCRs, you've got your TVs, you've got all sorts of things that
things that are turned off that are still drawing.
They're still drawing.
They said the plug-in thing for your cell phone.
Yeah, just sitting there and it's not charging.
It's drawing something.
It's drawing something. Yeah. So.
Well, what about? Well, we know the refrigerator's always running, but other things like the microwave and the oven and all those things.
Now your microwave's not. Your oven's not.
It's just the clock. So that's nothing.
Well, yeah, you're pulling probably about 4 watts off the clock. Or so. Okay. I mean, it's minimal, but still, when you start adding all these things together, 4 watt here, 30 watts here, 47 watts here, and PCs can pull up as much as 130 watts on standby, or so, and Macs basically are about 45 watts or so, so they're a little bit better in the power consumption. But still,
but we've got how many of them plugged in?
You add everything up, and people wonder why their electric bill is so high. Most of the time, it's because of their heating and cooling system. But there again, if the recessed lighting is a big thing now. So for every recessed light that you have in your house, it's equivalent to having one more person in the house. We talked about this, I think, a couple of segments back. Mm-hmm. So the amount of heat that's put off by these incandescent bulbs is tremendous. It's like 4 BTU, 4 British thermal units. And,
there's been a campaign forever and ever about go around the house and turn off lights, so that's a good one.
Yeah, but
what
still,
else?
when they're on, you're heating the house. And,
what else?
What else?
Is there around the house that's heating up? What do we got on? I mean, when I turn off the lights and walk out of a room, I just figured that I have stopped drawing electricity, but you're saying that's not the case, huh?
Yeah. I mean, you stopped it once you turned the switch off.
The electric phone.
Your phone's pulling power.
Yeah, the old ones from the telephone company had no electricity.
They worked off of DC. Phone company provided the DC power, 48-volt talk battery is what they called it, and you weren't really paying. But then they came out with the trim lines, which had lights in them, and you had a transformer that plugged into an electrical outlet somewhere, and then they got away from those when the LEDs came out, and they were powered by the battery that was on the line itself. But, you start adding all these things up. So everything you can do, if everybody replaced one incandescent bulb with a compact fluorescent, you would have enough to power like 3 million homes.
I've heard those numbers. It's really amazing to think
you're
that
talking
much
about billions of people changing out a light bulb.
Right.
But still, it makes common sense that in the summertime we're trying to cool our house. Why have a 100-watt bulb putting off heat? And you can go up and actually have a compact fluorescent turned on for a long time. Go up there and put your hand on it and unscrew it. Try that with a 100-watt bulb.
Right. You permanent mark.
Yeah, you'll be blistered. But,
there's also something else to think through. The Olympics really. They were magnificent. They were wonderful. And when you saw the pictures of skies over Beijing, where they limited automobiles, they shut down factories to try and clean up their air. Well, we're doing all this stuff to clean up the air, too, but you have to think through the process. that shutting off the light bulb, changing the light bulb out, what long affect us long term when you think it all the way out.
Well, how do you get the electricity?
Yes.
So
and we're coal-based in this country.
We're coal-based, and so just keeping, like you have Dish TV, and you got your TiVo there, and you've got all your
and you think you're
there,
doing your
TV.
thing.
You're putting 2,000 pounds of CO2 annually into the atmosphere, generating the electricity off of coal-fired plants.
Wow.
So 2,000 pounds, that's per house or
Isn't
so.
that awful?
Yeah.
But we've got a Congress, we've got a government that's... When was the last time they built a nuclear power plant? I understand they're adding down in Glen Rose. They're putting another one up there.
They're putting 2 of them down there.
2 more?
I believe so.
But that's not enough to
No.
offset all these coal plants around the country.
Well, the regulations and the code requirements and all that for building the nuclear power plants, it's a long-term payback. But really, it's not when you consider it's clean burning. It doesn't put any CO2 in the atmosphere. Everybody was worried about the meltdowns and all this other stuff, but they're controlled. There's stringent controls under everything as far as construction, when they construct them, maintaining them. Everything is on the up and up, and the power plant down in Glen Rose has been down there for, 20-something years?
Yes,
Or more than 20 years.
No meltdowns, no Chernobyls.
Right.
And Chernobyl's a very interesting situation when that melted down. But the other thing that's happening here in Texas is the wind farms.
Right.
And we have all this natural gas coming out, which is a fossil fuel, contrary to what somebody has said on the news lately. That natural gas, you had a terrible expression for what that was, but it's still a fossil fuel. It's a byproduct of ground waste. How's that for a way of putting it? Oil and the fuel. And to convert all our cars to gas engines or electric was the other option. Somebody said within 10 years, were he president, all the cars would be electric. Well, that really gives us polluted air if you think it through to its conclusion when we have...
Yeah, because we've got to generate the power to charge those cars.
And we have
now, you are
generators running on gas.
Decrease a certain amount of emission problems.
It's trading apples for... if you're going to have more draw of electricity, you're going to use more coal, oil, and gas to run those power plants to provide the electricity. Where's the benefit?
And like I said, it's a trade-off. I mean, we're going to
we're going to exchange one form of pollution for a bigger, generally located polluter. I don't see where the benefit is there unless we get away from it entirely, from fossil fuels, from coal, oil, and gas. We have to get away from those for electric generation. And all that's been accomplished with taking corn for fuel is cause a huge escalation. This morning on the news, they were talking about algae.
Right, using algae and I think that would be a good program. The corn is a bad idea. Reason saying, because it cost, I think, twice as much to produce as gasoline from crude oil. What it does is it depletes our stock in the corn. All our animals are grain-fed, which is corn.
Our humans.
So that makes our milk go up. That makes the beef go up. That makes anything you eat as far as meat products go up.
The corn products.
Right.
This is tortilla country. So it's
corn
just,
oil. So your vegetable oil. Yeah, it just goes on and on and on. So all the things that we are trying to substitute, to get away from oil-based products, is actually costing us in the long run.
Yeah, I got on the bandwagon just like everybody else did to come away from crude oil to some other product. And I did not think it through to its ultimate conclusion, where you have escalated costs, cause damage in the long run in other areas, unexpected areas, or at least never thought through that the price for our feed for our animals has just gone nuts.
Just paying $4 a gallon for gas wouldn't be so bad if everything else was low. But the problem is when they started doing the ethanol bit, is that increase the price of all our feedstock. It is not, they need to find another source. The products they're producing from corn, they need to go back and rethink that, and let's find it something else that we can ferment to get us or whatever they do to it to get it to where we can use it in our cars.
Convert a waste product.
Convert waste products, or there's all sorts of things out there that
there's so many international political ramifications when it comes to power. That you have to think beyond your local area. You've got to think beyond your country. My nature is to be an isolationist. Leave us alone and let us do our own thing. But
work.
It's a global community now. So you have to think that what you're doing is going to have impact around the world. And what other parts of the world are going to impact us. So if we escalate the price of corn to create an artificial fuel, it doesn't truly impact us alone. It doesn't affect our cost per watt because our power plants aren't burning corn, rather.
Right.
They're burning coal. So it's a huge picture. You really have to stand back. And when I hear politicians giving glib responses to how to control pricing, how to get the cost of everything down,
well,
it's not thought through.
Einstein, you've heard of Einstein. He's a pretty sharp old guy.
Was.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he said every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And that it seems to be true on
energy.
And what we're doing is whatever we do to divert from oil usage and all this other stuff seems to cost us more in the long run. And it's happened in the green world too, green building. When they came out and said, let's go to bamboo type flooring. I loved it. We put it in a lot of houses. Well, the demand went up so much that the supplies were needed. And so what they were doing is cutting down rainforest to plant bamboo. And so, it's even been thought that the bamboo may come off the green list because of that. Right now, it's not. I mean, it's rapidly growing, and if they can set up some farms and stuff, some of this stuff grows 2 and 3 feet a day.
But you don't want to pull down an antique tree.
Well, you don't want to destroy a 100-year-old, 200-year-old tree.
It's cleaning the air.
That's cleaning the air to plant bamboo.
Which does nothing.
Well, the bamboo's still going to clean the air. They're all
not compared to one of
CO2
those giant
and put
trees
out oxygen. But they're still putting out a lot. But still, you don't want to do that. And if they can control it, that's the reason most of our forests now that we're using for wood products and stuff are FSC. They're Forest Stewardship Council. They come in. These are just like we plant corn, peas, everything else. They come in and they plant thousands of trees, and 20 years later they go back and harvest them. And people say, well, let's go to steel or all. It takes more energy to manufacture the steel. I mean, so you're not thinking it through again.
And
wood,
neither is
wood is a green product.
Well, I appreciate that, but selective cutting I'm very much in favor of that because these singular plant forests are not natural either. A forest is a conglomeration of many types of trees and plants. So if you selective cut instead of strip cutting or planting pine trees in a row.
Well, these are tree farms. And that's basically what they are. And they're planting them in a row.
And they continue that sections of the country I could see designated, but not going into old forest and clear cutting.
Right.
It's
well,
not worth it.
I think that's pretty well ended somewhat. I mean, they're still
it's
doing
quiet,
some.
That's all.
We've
got this.
But compared to what it was in the past, where they're going in to cutting these redwoods down that were like 25 or 30 foot in diameter, that's pretty well, I think, stopped when you're cutting down a 1,000-year-old tree. Well,
let's be realistic. We don't have. I love President Bush dearly, but the environment, the natural resources in this country didn't get his attention at a level that was generating a lot of dialogue that He kept us safe instead of talking about spotted owls and trees. So it may still be going on. We're just not hearing about it.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it is, and I know it is in different parts of the world, which is unfortunate. Now, there's a lot of countries now that are setting aside large acreage tracts and making them, a conservative effort to preserve those forests. And those hopefully will remain with us for a long time. But
it's fascinating traveling around the world and seeing some of these poor countries that have polluted air and the most incredible forests.
Oh, yeah.
Fascinating. And it's something we've loved to do. And I don't see where the pipeline is truthfully a problem. It's cut through, it's a strip, and it's pulling the fuel out of rural areas. But I don't see where it's caused a major impact on the environment.
I don't think the pipeline has. I think the drilling has affected it somewhat.
But doesn't the land recover? The earth recovers once they cap it, and that little thing sitting there pumping away, the earth around it should recover.
Somewhat.
We digress.
Yeah,
anyway,
you're digressing.
One more thing.
What?
If I go through the house and unplug the things that are passively pulling power, I always leave the plug-in thing for my cell phone always in the wall. We go through and pull those out. Do you think it would show an appreciable difference?
It would over time. And if you have enough, a lot of people have gone to the power strips now with the on-off switch on them, so they don't really have to unplug it. They just go over and flip that switch and kill it to that particular, all those units.
All right, but that power strip is on a standby?
No.
No? Okay,
No.
so I've actually cut the power to it.
You've actually cut the power.
So if we change out light bulbs and stop passive draw of power, that's a major impact that trickles all the way back to the power plant.
Right. You're cutting CO2 emissions if you're not using the power.
In a subtle way.
In a subtle way. So if everybody, like I said, if everybody went in and just the little things, you might have, say the light bulbs, you've got 65-watt bulbs, 100-watt bulbs, whatever. You've got all these other things, like I said, the box fans, ceiling fans, you're pulling about 100 watts when they're on high or so.
And we leave ours on all the time.
We leave them on all the time. So we don't necessarily have them on high.
And we're not even in the house.
You're burning anywhere from 15 to 95 watts or so when
I
they're on low.
need to be a better steward about turning things off.
Well, it depends. It's a trade-off. If you want to keep it cool, you want to keep the air moving, then you're going to have to pay for to do so.
The convenience.
Yeah, and so you keep it on low, you're running around 15 watts. Now, if you've got it on high, you're running 100. So if you've got 6 fans in the house, you're running 600 watts, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so it all adds up.
Yeah, fast.
And you take just take the population of Weatherford. If everybody's got ceiling fans on and say we're running 600 watts in our house 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, then you multiply that by however many thousand people here, then that's a lot of power consumption.
Yeah, it is.
And
I don't even think of those things.
And that's the reason we're saying change out your light bulbs. When they burn out, change out your light bulbs to compact fluorescents. That helps so much because everybody uses light at night. And you can't even imagine how much power you save. And like I said, if everybody just changed out one in their house, it would power 3 million houses. So,
and that makes the air cleaner. I like the domino effect of something as simple as a light bulb, unplugging the passive drawing equipment and keeping the air clean because the power plant doesn't have to produce as much.
Well, every time you make a cup of coffee, you turn that coffee pot on.
Well, you're not taking my coffee away from me.
That's 900 watts, 800 watts for a rain.
I don't mind
burner.
standing around in the dark, but I'll be darned if I'm giving up my coffee.
Well, like your desktop computers, they're up about 20 watts, 17-inch CRT monitor at 120 watts. So
the calculator you always leave on.
And we've got to take another break. We'll be back here in a couple of minutes.
Did you know that some of the best home builders in the entire nation are right here in Parker County? Hello, everyone. This is Lynn Bearden, president of First National Bank of Weatherford. Our lenders believe your family deserves the best when it comes to your dream home. First National Bank is proud to support the Master Builder Show on QXFM. First National Bank in Weatherford has been building homes in Parker County since 1880. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Croft Foam Insulation and Protective Coatings has over 25 years of experience in the spray foam business, serving residential, commercial, and industrial clients. Croft Foam specializes in open and closed-cell polyurethane foam applications to construction, refrigerated trailers, and even castles. Croft Foam is a Fort Worth-based company. You may reach them by calling 817-482-1664 or email at foamman@swbell.net.
Alamo Appliance, 100 South Riverside Drive in Fort Worth, has been serving your needs in kitchen appliances since the early 70s. They offer Genair, KitchenAid, Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, and many other appliances. And their sales staff is ready to help you anytime you might visit. That's Alamo Appliance, 817-531-2701. Once again, the Alamo Appliance number is 817-531-2701.
Fort Worth Lighting, serving Parker, Wise, Palo Pinto, and surrounding counties with a selection of interior and exterior lighting fixtures. They also have ceiling fans, mirrors, and vanities in all sizes. A lighting consultant will help you with your decisions. For an appointment with a Fort Worth Lighting Consultant, the number is 817-597-6320, or the website is fortworthlighting.com. 817-597-6320 for Fort Worth Lighting.
Are you looking for a law firm with an understanding of the construction industry? Kelly M. Davis and Associates experience includes home inspections, construction contracts, disputes with builders, and helping subcontractors or vendors that have not been paid for their services. For more information, you may visit www.kmdalegal.com or you may call 972-434-8009. That's 972-434-8009.
Kelly M. Davis and Associates. Principal offices are located in Louisville, Texas.
Welcome back to the Master Builder Show. I am your host, Jim Gibson. Today's show is sponsored by the First National Bank of Weatherford. We're talking about what's what. We're going to kind of switch topics now. We're going to talk about it kind of deals with energy conservation and everything like that, is how much does a house cost per square foot? You know, that's one of the biggest misnomers, I guess, or whatever you want to say. You know, you can go out and say, well, how much does a car cost per pound? People understand that, and they say, well, what kind of car? Well, what kind of house? And if everybody would get a pencil out there and just make a drawing on a piece of paper, or just visualize this in your mind, you can take and build a square and put 10 foot by 10 foot sides. Okay, that's 10 by 10, that's 100 square feet. Mm-hmm. You can also draw a rectangle that is 2 foot wide, 50 foot long. Mm-hmm. That's 2 times 50, that's 100 square feet. Okay, the perimeter on the square is 40 feet. The perimeter on the rectangle is 104. So you're taking twice as much material to build a rectangle. Mm-hmm. We're using 100 square foot. All right, and that 104 feet, linear feet, if you bricked it, let's say we're doing 10 foot walls. Mm-hmm. It takes 1,040 square feet of brick, 1,040 square foot of sheathing, and that's on the 2 foot by 50 foot rectangle. Mm-hmm. On the 10 by 10, you're taking 400 square foot of brick. So you're less than half the brick. You're 400 square foot of sheathing. You're less than half the sheathing. Well, how does it pertain to energy? Well, it's in manufacturing the product also.
Oh, go back up the logic scale.
Back up the logic scale, and if you can, so your basic design on your house depends. I mean, on square foot cost, and that's just where it begins. You're talking on the 2 foot by 50 foot rectangle. You're talking about using 78 studs to go around it on 16-inch centers. On the 10 by 10, you're talking about 30 studs. So, like I said, a lot of it depends on shape. You're using 208 foot of top plate on the rectangle, which is 2 foot by 50 foot. On the 10 foot by 10 foot building, you're using 80 feet. And like I said, 208 foot of top plate versus 80 feet of top plate. 104 feet of bottom plate on the rectangle, 2 foot by 50 foot, using 40 foot of bottom plate on the square. And so square foot is a meaningless word unless I can see the drawing itself. What you're going to put in it is the next portion.
When we were designing, in fact, Ronnie Godfrey last week said, what's your first consideration?
Size.
Ta-da.
Size.
So,
but it's also size and shape.
I was going to say, when we were designing a house, I like bump outs, I like bay windows, I like all these little angles and corners and curves, and you did the math between here's your square and here's your rectangle.
Here's a rectangle.
And it was dramatically different.
Well, there's a free cost estimator that you can go to, and
Where?
it's building-cost.net. And that's www.building-cost.net, and click on calculator. The first thing it's going to ask you is how many corners does your building have?
Is there a link to this off our website yet?
Not
yet, but we'll do it.
Not yet, we'll do that. But like I said, if you remember www.building-cost.net, and then it'll take you into a website there, and click on free calculator, and you can design your own house, and it'll give you you can actually print out all your costs. Now this is a nationwide study, and so you got to pick out your zip code. And I think 760 is the zip code you'd pick out for this area. And I think they've got listed as Arlington on there, but it's just actually 760 zip code. And you'd be surprised how much cost goes up every time you add a corner.
Yeah. Darn. Because I like all those angles and bump outs and detail.
Well, that's what everybody likes. And then, here several years ago, we were building most of our buildings down here. Kind of Frank Lloyd Wright-ish, where the roofs were low profile.
I like that.
They had 412 pitches on them. You got to have minimum 412, put composition shingles on. So say 4 and 6, 12 pitch, and that means it rises 6 inches for every foot, or 6 feet for every 12 feet if it's a 612 pitch. But we were talking, I guess when Ronnie was here, well, several times, that if you go to, a lot of our pitches out here are 12-12. We have no snow load. And you've got, when you go in from your rafters, or from your ridge board to your joist, your ceiling joist, sometimes it's 18, 19, 20 feet to the ridge. And so you've got all that space. Well, when you start looking at it, if you take a 12-12 pitch, then you've got to multiply 1.6 times square foot under roof. So if you've got a 2,000 square foot house, then you're 1.6 times that, so you're over 3,000 square foot of roofing, and that equates to more materials, more cost, more energy wasted, and so if you can get into a mode where it looks like we got to take another break again. These are coming up pretty quick. We'll be back here in a couple of minutes.
Did you know that some of the best home builders in the entire nation are right here in Parker County? Hello, everyone. This is Lynn Bearden, president of First National Bank of Weatherford. Our lenders believe your family deserves the best when it comes to your dream home. First National Bank is proud to support the Master Builder Show on QXFM. First National Bank of Weatherford has been building homes in Parker County since 1880. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Croft Foam Insulation and Protective Coatings has over 25 years of experience in the spray foam business, serving residential, commercial, and industrial clients. Croft Foam specializes in open and closed cell polyurethane foam applications to construction, refrigerated trailers, and even castles. Croft Foam is a Fort Worth-based company. You may reach them by calling 817-482-1664 or email at foamman@swbell.net.
Alamo Appliance, 100 South Riverside Drive in Fort Worth, has been serving your needs in kitchen appliances since the early 70s. They offer Genair, KitchenAid, Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, and many other appliances. And their sales staff is ready to help you anytime you might visit. That's Alamo Appliance, 817-531-2701. Once again, the Alamo Appliance number is 817-531-2701.
Fort Worth Lighting, serving the building professional in Parker, Wise, Palo Pinto, and surrounding counties. Services include planned takeoff, site walkthrough, and delivery. For an appointment with a Fort Worth Lighting consultant, the number is 817-597-6320, or the website is fortworthlighting.com. Again, it's 817-597-6320 for Fort Worth Lighting.
Are you having a construction-related issue? Do you need a construction attorney? If so, you may call the law firm of Kelly M. Davis and Associates. Kelly's family background in the construction industry has led to her focus in construction litigation, with over 9 years of experience practicing construction law in and around the metro area. For more information, you may visit www.kmdalegal.com, or you may call 972-434-8009. That's 972-434-8009. Kelly M. Davis and Associates. Principal offices are located in Lewisville, Texas.
Welcome back to the Master Builder Show. I am your host, Jim Gibson. Today's show is sponsored by the First National Bank of Weatherford. My guest today is Jean, my wife, Jean Gibson, and she's Vice President of Gibson Home Builders. Like I said, we're going to be doing probably 5 more shows. Yep. And we will not be doing any more shows after October.
But there'll be
some podcasts.
Yeah,
and I'll
you're going to stay up there.
I've got speaking engagements lined up. I'm taking my courses now to get my trainer's license for a national association.
But you're still going to build houses, aren't you?
I'm still going to build houses.
And you're going to build my house now?
Eventually.
There's a lull going on. And right now, Jim's finishing up a couple of big projects. And this is the shoemaker's children here.
Yeah,
the shoemaker's children have no shoes. The builder's wife doesn't have a new house. And it's time, Dad.
Yeah, right. Anyway,
it's going to be a long 5 shows. I'll tell you that right now.
If y'all have any questions and are getting suggestions for topics for the next 5 shows, I would love to hear from you. And you can reach me, Jim, Jim, at GibsonHomebuilders.com, or Jim at MasterBuildershow.com, and just send me some suggestions on topics that you'd like to hear about.
Well, I've got a bunch of them.
And we will do our best to cover them. Yeah, I know you do, and I'm not going to give you my email address.
I think one good would be winterizing.
Winterizing, yeah.
Oh, it's hard to even imagine when it's 98 out, but you're right.
We start football on Friday. That means it's getting close.
It's
getting close.
Yeah.
So when y'all are designing your houses or doing anything out there, you remember that shape,
yep,
along with size, roof pitch, and then everything you pick in it. You can pick, like I said, if you'll go to www.buildingcost, that's building-cost.net, you can punch in there and it'll say, okay, I want to put in fair type fixtures. I want to put in good fixtures. I want to put in above average fixtures. I want to put in excellent fixtures. And you can break it out. And it'll ask you questions on your foundation, whether you want a good foundation, which I thought was kind of stupid. But
I want one that caves in, actually.
Yeah, after about, it lasts my 10-year warranty and the house falls down. But, you can put in anything you want. And it'll give you a breakout of, and it'll have a lot of stuff in there if you're building out in the country that won't pertain, like permit fees and stuff like that. But it'll give you a basic national average for our area on building costs, material costs, and stuff like that. And you'd be surprised how much it costs. A lot of people come in, well, how much can I afford? And a lot of times I'll just give them this, and we can come in under this because it's got a lot of things in there that don't pertain. But with fuel prices up, it'll get you pretty close.
Gone crazy.
It'll get you pretty close.
Yeah.
And you can cut corners, and you can go in.
And that's not a fair way to say
it either.
No,
but as far
build a good, solid, well-insulated house and add the fringe over time. Add the foo-foo, decorating.
Right.
For the gentleman who's going to that called in about the permit, one of the things he needs to really be sure of, do what you can do safely. And contract the rest. The electrical, the plumbing,
right?
So anything elaborate, get somebody, a pro, to do that. You can still stay under budget if you're doing all the basics.
Yeah, and well, on a build job though, I don't let my customers do anything because I'm responsible for it.
Right, but for a remodel job,
Yeah.
he was trying to stay under the levels and see if he had to be registered, and he didn't doing it himself.
No, not as long as he's working on his own house.
Right.
But the cost, if you can keep your costs down, like I said, go in and build a good foundation, build a good structure, insulate it well on your mechanical systems, your air conditioning, heating system. Put in a good one. Put in a good one that we put in systems that have 10-year warranties. And
did you see the ad for the what is that, Kaleidoscope of Homes or the tour homes that's coming up in Dallas?
No,
and
it's
they
in
were
Fort Worth. It's in Maserati.
That's the Kaleidoscope. This is the tour homes, and they did the ad showing the heavy insulation for their sample greenhouse.
Right.
And they use blown-in cellulose in the walls.
Right. Which is good insulation. We've got to wrap it up again this week, and we'll be back here next week, same time, same place.